I have assembled a team of the greatest football legends ever, and we're gonna see how long it takes them to lose one league game. Just one. Anytime, anywhere. But who do you guys think should start on the wing? Cruyff or Maradona? Or maybe George Best? I've teamed up with this dude to get fabulous ratings for all of these old players in Football Manager. And to spice things up, we've decided to put the team in League 2. So will they lose a game in League 2? Probably not. League 1, the championship, or will they go all the way through to the Premier League and then win it unbeaten? Well, this was their second match in League 2. So I'm gonna say that's gonna take a little while. It's gonna take a little while. Let's see, we had Zinedine Zidane, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ferenc Puskás, Franz Beckenbauer, Paolo Maldini, Cristiano Ronaldo from the penalty spot. Come on, Penaldo. And Franco Baresi, Ferenc Puskás with a disallowed goal, and then Cristiano Ronaldo completing what I believe is a hat trick in the first half. Ronaldo had another one, and then George Best from Andres Iniesta to round things out, for a cool 10-0 on 53 shots and nearly 9 XG. What does 10 goals in a match look like, you ask? Well, here's a super awesome editor supercut. Now, Mansfield's probably wondering how they were unlucky enough to end up in this timeline where they're going up against Pelé passing it to Ferenc Puskás, but hey, you only play the team across from you. And what can get really interesting is if this team goes on to win the cups in England, well then they, assuming they get promoted to League 1, would be playing in European competition. Nothing like a League 1 team in the Europa League. To January we go. Holy smokes, we're already there. That's crazy how that... God, I love editing. How's it look down there in the schedule page, Zealand? Well, there's a lot of green, and I don't really know what's going on. I don't see a lot of goals allowed. Is the red card? Really? They actually gave up a goal in their first match of the entire run, but they didn't give up another league goal until September 16th against Morecambe. Their first matchup with a bigger club was in the EFL Cup second round, and they won it 2-1 at home against Leicester, which honestly, not that impressive. When you get in and break down the stats, it was. And basically every match looks like this. The next round of the League Cup on September 27th, they absolutely paved Chelsea 4-0. The next round, they blew out Aston Villa 6-1, although there was a brief 2-minute stretch where it was 1-1 late in the first half. So the more I watch this demolition unfold, I'm a big believer they might be able to go all the way unbeaten through the Prem, which would make sense considering these are just the best players ever. Who got to play against the Manchester City under-21s? Not their lucky day, but we do love the Pizza Cup. We love the Pizza Cup. On stream, we worship this tournament. I've still never won it. Maybe if I just could sign these guys. The FA Cup second round matchup was against Wealdstone from the National League. But unthinkably, even though we haven't even focused on the league yet, there was a match. No, they didn't lose, but it was way too close. On the road against Grimsby Town, only 2-1 to win. And all it takes is one match for them to lose, and it's over in the league. We're not holding cups against them. If they win it, that's amazing. And they probably will, but they have to lose a league match. When that Grimsby match was tough, they had to start with some long throw cheese to score their first goal. 68th minute, it's still 1-0. Roberto Carlos taps one in. And then Grimsby, with their only shot of the match coming from a throw-in play, which just, further proof that throw-ins in Football Manager, they're nonsense and chaos because even the best team and the best players ever can't stop it. The League Cup quarterfinal provided the nearest miss so far with a penalty shootout win over Manchester United, who equalized through Diogo Dalot. It wouldn't be until January until we saw a draw. And that was the second leg of the League Cup semifinal, which Legends FC here had already won the first leg 5-0, courtesy of goals from, Roberto Carlos, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ferenc Puskás, Pelé, and Zinedine Zidane. Normal. As for the league table, a cool plus 155 goal difference and 29 wins in 29 matches. Cristiano Ronaldo has 29 goals, although you will rather astutely notice that's not the picture of Cristiano Ronaldo, and this is the point where I have to come clean with you. I like to think I'm very good at a lot of things. Talking particularly loudly. Streaming, hopefully making YouTube videos. And forehead. However, tech savviness is not one of my strongest suits. And despite the fact that I was provided with a perfectly good face pack for this video, try as I might, I could not unf it. The result is only some of the faces are on the right players, while other faces are on the wrong players. Rather obviously, because that's not Ashley Cole. But rather conveniently, that is Ronaldo, just the wrong one. So that was a nice little swap. Cafu, faced by Maldini, leads the league with assists with 24, and Zinedine Zidane, faced by Lionel Messi, is second with 15. How many shutouts? Well, 26 and 29 league matches, courtesy of Lev Yashin. Hey, guess what? Season's over. That's, again, editing. 46 matches, 46 wins, plus 237 goal difference. Cristiano Ronaldo scored 40, Ferenc Puskás scored 31, Lev Yashin had 40 clean sheets in 46 league matches. But there was a blemish. Despite their raucous run all the way to the League Cup final, the team of legends was undone by Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. They went behind 2-0 early, Garrincha scored to make it 2-1, and then a couple of late goals from Gabby Jesus as Legends FC push for an equalizer. But we have their first loss, which makes me question if they can actually go undefeated in the Prem. The only contributing factor to this would be that relative to most teams in this league, this squad's a little small and the fixture congestion caught up to them, at least in terms of being able to compete with a team like Arsenal. But we will see, because they still haven't lost a league match. They did manage to win the Pizza Cup, the EFL Trophy final 3-1 against Oxford United. As Cristiano Ronaldo always dreamed of, he scored 2 goals in the final of the Pizza Cup. There were no more 1-goal games in the league, but the team did manage to make it all the way to the FA Cup final, which is of course a tournament that if they win, they will be in Europe in League One. And Legends FC would get nearly a month off before the final because their final match in League Two was on April 27th. And on May 25th, those fresh legs made all the difference because they won it in extra time. Diego Maradona in the 105th, Cristiano Ronaldo in the 106th, and Johan Cruyff with the cherry on top in the 120th minute. That means Legends FC is through the first year without a league loss, which we would hope is the case. And they've managed to win the FA Cup, putting them in European competition while in League One. And as we move into the second season, I have huge breaking news. Legends FC is not in first place. Bolton is with 45 points, and then AFC Wimbledon with 41. Legends FC's all the way down in third because they played a lot less matches. I don't know what you thought was happening. They've played 13 and won all 13. They have a plus 94 goal difference in 13 matches. They've played 13 league matches, and their top 2 scorers are Cristiano Ronaldo with 23 and Ronaldo with 18. Cafu has 18 assists in 13 matches. They are now playing in a ridiculous number of competitions. The EFL Trophy competition, the Europa League phase, the FA Cup has kicked off, and of course the League Cup is going on as well, and yet they have gone perfect through all of that. They even won the Community Shield against Manchester City, the league winners, in a penalty shootout to start the year. As for the Europa League, a bit of a tepid start, 1-0 win against PSV on the road, but then, Servette out of Switzerland, 8-1, Karabakh out of Azerbaijan, 4-0, and then Dinamo Zagreb catching these hands 10-0. Perhaps that's on account of the fact that they're playing in the biggest stadium possible, so these home matches are a little intimidating. The attendance for this one was 190,000. Huge credit to the 130 away fans from Dinamo Zagreb. Way to stand up to the crowd. By January, Legends FC was still uncomfortably sitting in third in the league table. It had played just 7 more league matches to go for 20 wins and 20 matches. Only 20 matches played in late January is pretty crazy. They have to squeeze in 26 League One matches from January 24th, but still unbeaten. How do you think you're feeling if you're Bolton leading the league? All right, lads, we're first place at the table tonight. We've got out in front and we're making a difference, and who knows what's going to happen with Legends FC's 10 matches they have left. Who knows? Anything. The Ronaldo bag race is definitely impressive, with Cristiano and R9 both at 28 goals, closely followed by, Aaron Collins of Bolton, of course, who has a really impressive 22 goals in 30 league matches. As for the other competitions, it's quite literally perfect. It's even more impressive than last year. It's like they've gotten warmed up. They're top of the league phase in the Europa League with a perfect record. They're set to take on Chelsea in the League Cup final to try and evict avenge their defeat from earlier. And they're still going in the last 32 of the FA Cup. But the most important competition, the Pizza Cup, they are in the quarterfinal again, set to take on the Crystal Palace under-21s. That feels unfair. At least let them play the whole team. But despite this comfortable appearance, the unthinkable would happen. Something that has not happened yet in this save. Legends FC draws a league match. And we need to be well aware of the reason here. Look at how many matches were played in January alone. The 1st, the 4th, the 6th, the 8th, the 11th, the 15th, the 20th, the 22nd, the 25th, the 27th, and the 29th. With only a draw in the FA Cup 4th round, which they won on a replay against West Ham. Then in February, the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, the 9th, 12th, 15th, 17th, 19th, 22nd, which was the League Cup final, which they won on penalties against Chelsea because they're apparently the greatest penalty team of all time. They've never lost a penalty shootout, probably because all of these guys have like 40 out of 20 composure. Then the 24th, then the 26th. They won every single one of those matches. How about their March? The 2nd, the 5th, the 8th, the 10th, the 12th, the 15th, the 17th, the 19th, the 26th, the 29th, the 31st. Over the course of 3 months, they played 33 competitive matches. But absolutely everything pales in comparison to the April that just winning in every competition has set up for them. 14 matches in 1 month. And right at the start of that run is when it happens, against league-leading Bolton. And when you look at the stats, it kind of makes sense. I mean, Legends FC obviously out-XG'd them, but not by that much. This is a match that Bolton at home was in. And the unbelievable burden of just being good in the English lower leagues is causing something that we didn't foresee. This is a 25-man team of the best players ever. But those 25 guys aren't enough. And the match against Bolton that ended up being probably closer than it should included 3 players that had already come in through the youth academy. See, they're transfer banned, but they do have academy players having come in over the past year. And it's one of those academy players, Kjeldgaard, that gets abused by Talalovic for the opening goal by Bolton. Talk about a tough team to come into and play in. You've got academy guys trying to hang with the best team in the world because despite the fact they're the best players ever, they don't have the fitness to play a match at this level every 2 days for 4 straight months. And the final goal, a penalty in the 90th minute by Talalovic, was given because another one of those 3 youngsters, McKay, accidentally handled the ball in the box. It would have been harsh if their only loss came from that, but it's their first league draw. And I guess no matter how good you are, you can't outrun straight up fatigue. The rest of the season would technically go according to plan. They would lose the second leg against Stade Rennais in the quarterfinal, but they'd already blown them out 3-0 in the first leg to advance. And they had a 4th minute red card to Franz Beckenbauer, just, on top of that. The semifinal, they breezed through Monaco 7-3, and they got to 2 finals, both against Tottenham. And honestly, when they saw that, they kind of knew they'd already won them. First, the Europa League, which they managed to win 3-0 despite an injury to Lev Yashin. Shout out to Lionel Messi and Diego Maradona having an Argentina night in the Europa League final. And then the FA Cup, which they won 4-1 at Wembley, with Manuel Neuer in goal. Huge drop-off there. Zidane, Xavi, Messi, Puskás, the normal characters. But none would top Tammy Abraham, who won top goal scorer in the Europa League. Hey, if you want to know who the top goal scorer was in the FA Cup, it was Hamzad Kargbo, affectionately known as Karg Daddy around the stream. If you know, you know. What? But there was, unthinkably, another blemish. They drew 2 matches in League One, almost certainly because of all the fixture congestion. It was a 98th minute equalizer by Port Vale at home. And of course, the league was already buttoned up with a plus 245 goal difference and 134 points, out of a possible 138 though. But that's 2 years without a league defeat, surviving a truly absurd schedule. But if you wanted to know what it looked like to win everything in League One, there you go. But now they're in the Champions League, and they're playing a championship schedule, which means championship could actually be dangerous. This could be where the loss happens. Except, yeah, maybe not. They won the European South American Challenge 3-1 over Flamenco and started with a 6-0 win over Leicester and 6-1 over West Brom. They won the UEFA Super Cup with a thumping 2-0 over Manchester City and beat Arsenal in the Community Shield 1-0 as well. So I think they're ready to go. The important consideration here is they don't have the EFL Trophy or Pizza Pizza Cup to contend with anymore, so that unbelievable fixture congestion they had in League One won't quite hit the same in the championship. 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 8-2, 6-0, 7-0 in the Champions League against Freiburg, hello, 6-0, 3-0 in the League Cup, 6-1, 2-0 against Lazio away in the Champions League, and then 6-0 against Fulham. They're never going to lose a game ever, and I'm just going to be here forever. Cristiano Ronaldo already has 20 goals in 11 matches played. 11 matches plus 56 goal difference while playing multiple Super Cups, Champions League, early League Cup. Why do I ever sit down to do these things? But let's edit our way to January, shall we? Boom. Gotcha. Now we go. Despite a ridiculous run of road matches, including one at Ajax, the wins kept coming. At home against PSG, they actually blew them out more than they did, Burnley on the road. But, look, that's a tough English away day. Can you do it on a cold, rainy night at Burnley? There was also just a 2-1 at home against Sunderland that was nearly a draw if it wasn't for Ronaldo, R9 Ronaldo, in the 94th minute. They were losing for 30 minutes, though. That's probably got to be a record. The good news, of course, for Legends FC is they are not falling as many matches behind as last year. 28 matches, 28 wins. That's 8 more matches at the end of January than we had last time. Plus 116 goal difference. Both Ronaldos are top 2 in the Golden Boot race. Oh yeah, by the way, Cristiano won that race last year with 50 goals to R9's 40. The League Cup did produce a loss, though. Once again, as this team seems to meter win to lose, it was in the home and away in the semi-final, and they just went and beat Chelsea 3-1 in the second leg to go through anyways. They also beat Chelsea in the FA Cup third round, which is obviously a ridiculously hard draw, but they don't seem to mind very much. Then they went and won by a couple goals at RB Leipzig because they're trying to win the Champions League out of the championship, which would be a really sick challenge in Football Manager, but if you're not managing this team of legends, it would also be nearly impossible. Because the only way you'd be playing in it is if you'd won the Europa League from winning a cup earlier, which you'd have to win that cup ideally when you're in League 1 or League 2. Basically, this is the only way. Then it was Barcelona in the Champions League phase, and that was a 4-0 win, which of course completed their run with 8 wins from 8 and a plus 25 goal difference. Although huge shout out to the other 5 English teams in this competition for literally all making it in the top 8. 6 of the top 8 teams are playing in the English leagues here. The other 2 are Juventus and RB Leipzig, and of course Leipzig, their only loss was to Legends FC. Then at home against Reading, 3-0. And at home against Ipswich, 3-0. And then away against Fulham. The starting lineup, R9 up top, Pelé and Cristiano Ronaldo on the wings. The midfields, Maradona, Zidane, and Matos. Roberto Carlos, Baresi, Moore, and Lam on the back line with Lev Yashin in goal. But it would be a tight match, a cagey back and forth between a Fulham team playing in Craven Cottage and playing very well in Legends FC, not finding their usual unbelievable goal dominance. The sort of match that's setting itself up perfectly for a stunning ending. The sort of match that anyone that's ever played Football Manager could tell you they already know what's coming. In the 90th minute, on a team full of the best players in the world that have managed to win over 100 league matches in a row against increasingly more difficult competition, while playing a ridiculous array of all-comers from all over the continent over the last 2 years and winning nearly everything that they could. Letting slip out of all the Super Cups, all the domestic cups, all the Continental Cups, just one League Cup in their first season. That team did this. Matthaus to Xavi, who tries to play it back to Lothar Matthaus, who doesn't know it's coming. Valise is in on goal. There's nothing Lev Yashin can do, and in the 90th minute, Fulham scores. It is their 4th shot on target in the entire match, and it does it. The greatest team ever assembled does not make it to the Premier League without a league loss. In a 1 in a million shot, Fulham plays the game of its life and beats Legends FC. So if you ever lose a game in Football Manager against a team you're better than, it happens. All it takes is a sprinkle of complacency and a sprinkle of nonsense, and all of a sudden, the run's over. But I know you're curious. No, they didn't lose another game in the championship. They only dropped points in 1 more at Oxford United. They won 44 of 46 matches with a plus 175. Cristiano Ronaldo scored 39. R9 scored 34. Ferenc Puskas scored 25. But for a second time, they did lose the League Cup final. So for whatever reason, the Legends are just not able to win the League Cup consistently. They did, however, win the FA Cup after knocking out Liverpool in the semifinal. They beat West Ham in the final. And yeah, they won the championship Champions League. They beat PSG 1-0 in the final. And even though their run did end before they made it to the Prem, they did complete the run and win the Premier League in the 4th season with 96 points, which puts in perspective how impressive that 100-point season is. They dropped points in 8 matches with only 2 losses, at Liverpool and at Bournemouth. 2-0, which is just, of course, the most Premier League thing I've ever seen. It was late in the season and they kind of already had the league wrapped up, but still, Bournemouth, the Cherries. Pelé started this match. They did, however, correct their earlier pain, winning a League Cup title with a thumping 7-1 over Burnley. And then, of course, they won the FA Cup 4-2 over Liverpool, and they repeated as a Champions League winner, beating Real Madrid, who I'm pretty sure like half these guys played for to begin with, 3-2 in the Champions League final. So don't worry, Legends FC was unbelievable, but even as good as they were, the English Championship claimed their scalp and handed them their first league loss. Now, you might be wondering what was the point of this, and if you have to ask, you don't understand. But if you're interested in more pointless fun, I locked Kylian Mbappe on the worst team in Football Manager to see how his career played out. But we also sent Haaland there just as a control group. We wanted to see what would happen. I'll see you guys on stream. Cool.